ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸਚ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਚਾਚਰੀ ਛੰਦ ਤਵੈ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਗੋਬਿੰਦੇ ਮੁਕੰਦੇ ਉਦਾਰੇ ਅਪਾਰੇ ਹਰਿਯੰ ਕਰਿਯੰ ਨਿਰਨਾਮੇ ਅਕਾਮੇ। ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ। ਉਜ ਬਲਬੀਰ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਸੁਖ ਸਾਗਰ ਗਰਤ ਪਰਤ ਕਹਿ ਲੈ ਹੋ ਅੰਗੁਰੀਆ ਗਰਤ ਪਰਤ ਕਹਿ ਲੈ ਹੋ ਅੰਗੁਰੀਆ। ਸ਼ਰਵਨ ਨਾ ਸੁਰਤ ਨੈਣ ਸੁੰਦਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸ਼ਰਵਨ ਨਾ ਸੁਰਤ ਨੈਣ ਸੁੰਦਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਰਤ ਦਵਾਰ ਰਟਤ ਪਿੰਗੁਰੀਆ ਆਰਤ ਦਵਾਰ ਰਟਤ ਪਿੰਗੁਰੀਆ। ਦੀਨਾਨਾਥ ਅਨਾਥ ਕਰੁਣਾ ਮੈਂ ਦੀਨਾਨਾਥ ਅਨਾਥ ਕਰੁਣਾ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਜਨ ਮੀਤ ਪਿਤਾ ਮਹਿ ਤਰੀਆ ਸਾਜਨ ਮੀਤ ਪਿਤਾ ਮਹਿ ਤਰੀਆ। ਚਰਨ ਕਵਲ ਹਿਰਦੈ ਗਹਿ ਨਾਨਕ ਚਰਨ ਕਵਲ ਹਿਰਦੈ ਗਹਿ ਨਾਨਕ ਭੈ ਸਾਗਰ ਸੰਤ ਪਾਰ ਉਤਰੀਆ। ਮੂਕ ਉਚਰੈ ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰ ਖਟ ਪਿੰਗ ਗਿਰਨ ਚੜ ਜਾਏ ਪਿੰਗ ਗਿਰਨ ਚੜ ਜਾਏ ਅੰਧ ਲਖੈ ਬਦਰੋ ਸੁਣੈ ਜੋ ਕਾਲ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਾਏ ਜੋ ਕਾਲ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਾਏ। ਰਾਜਾਨ ਰਾਜ ਭਾਨਾਨ ਭਾਨ ਦੇਵਾਨ ਦੇਵ ਉਪਮਾ ਮਹਾਨ ਚੌਰ ਛਤਰ ਤਖਤ ਤਾਜਾ ਦੇ ਮਾਲਕ ਧੰਨ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਸਾਜੀ ਨਵਾਜੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਰੂਪ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਵਾਰੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀਓ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਅਪਾਰ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਮਿਹਰ ਅਮਿਤ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਭਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਦੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਆਧੁਨਿਕ ਯੰਤਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਸਤਸੰਗ ਕਰਨ ਦੀਆਂ ਅਮੋਲਕ ਘੜੀਆਂ ਬਖਸ਼ੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਅੱਜ ਇੰਡੋਨੇਸ਼ੀਆ ਦੀ ਸਮੂਹ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਹੁਕਮ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਰਬੰਸਦਾਨੀ, ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਦੇ ਦਾਤੇ ਸ਼ਮਸ਼ੇਰ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜੋਤੀ ਜੋਤ ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਸ਼ਬਦਾਵਤਾਰ ਬਾਣੀ ਕੇ ਬੋਹਿਤ ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸੀਨਾ ਸਵਰੂਪ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਗੁਰਤਾ ਗੁਰਗੱਦੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਵਿਚਾਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਈ ਜਾਵੇ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਤੋਂ ਸੰਕੋਚ ਕਰਕੇ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਬੋਲਾਂਗਾ। ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, I have been asked by the Sangat of Indonesia to share the story of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj's Jyoti Jyot, of how they left their physical body, and alongside that the Gurta Gurgaddi, how Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj was installed upon the throne of Guruship by Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj in 1708 at Sachkhand Sri Hazur Sahib। ਆਓ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਹਜੂਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਆ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਸਾਖੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਮਨ ਚ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ। Just even before I begin saying Fateh, I'm not going to be speaking much Punjabi today because we don't have much time and there's a lot of history to go through. But even before I begin with Gur Fateh, there's a story, and whenever I think about Sri Hazur Sahib, this story always comes into my mind. In fact, there are actually two stories, but I'm going to tell one of them now and leave the other for when we finish up this vichar with Guru Sahib's grace. In our recent history, there's been a great saint whose name was Baba Atar Singh Ji Mastuan Wale. And although this is a side topic or a side issue or a side subject, so many great saints have meditated at Sri Hazur Sahib. Baba Nand Singh Ji Maharaj from Nanaksar for 1 year used to bring the water for the Amrit Vela Ishnan of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj's throne at Sri Hazur Sahib, the Singhasan inside. Baba Mit Singh Ji of the Buddha Dal came to Sri Hazur Sahib and spent the rest of their life serving at the door of Mata Sahib Deva Ji, the mother of the Khalsa. There are countless many more. Baba Nidan Singh Ji, who started Gurdwara Langar Sahib, but I'm not gonna focus on that today. Just from Baba Atar Singh Ji's life, it is said that Baba Atar Singh Ji meditated at Sachkhand Sri Hazur Sahib, and that they performed 125,000 recitations of Sri Japji Sahib at Sri Hazur Sahib. One day Babaji was sitting next to the river Godavari, the river which flows by Sachkhand Sri Hazur Sahib, and a beautiful breeze was blowing, and the Sangat was listening to Babaji speak. And amongst the Sangat, those of you who've heard my Katha before may have heard me tell this story, but every time I tell the story, it brings a new flavor inside. And if you imagine Baba Atar Singh Ji, their face is glowing brightly. There's a little breeze blowing by the Godavari. And although this isn't related to this particular story, it is said that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, sometimes when they would sit by the river Godavari, would say to the Singhs, they would say to their Khalsa, Khalsa Ji, can you feel sitting here? It is as if I feel the cold winds or the cool breeze from a Sri Anandpur Sahib was sitting at this place. ਇਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਬਚਨ ਸੀ ਗੋਦਾਵਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਉਹ ਹਵਾ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਠੰਡੇ ਬੁੱਲੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਬਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਗੋਦਾਵਰੀ ਦੇ ਕੰਢੇ ਤੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਸਿੰਘੋ ਇਹ ਉਹੀ ਨਜ਼ਾਰਾ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਦੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਨੰਦਪੁਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕੇਸਗੜ੍ਹ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੱਕ ਤੇ ਬੈਠਿਆਂ ਨਜ਼ਾਰਾ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਸੀ. Anyway, that cool breeze is blowing, and in the Sangat there is one Kirtani whose name was Bhai Hira Singh. And Bhai Hira Singh comes up to Babaji, and he knows that Babaji has meditated at this place. And so he folds his hands together and he asks Babaji, he says, Babaji, can we be blessed with the vision of Guru Gobind Singh Ji even today? Can we experience the vision of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj today? Baba Atar Singh Ji, their face glowing brightly, their eyes welled up with tears, looked at Bhai Hira Singh Raghi, and they said, Hira Singh, even today you can be blessed with the experience of the vision of Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj is waiting for the day that the Sikh opens up the doors of their heart. The day you open up the doors of your heart, that is the day you will be blessed with the vision of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. That is the day you will be blessed with what we call in Gurmat the darshan of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Sad Sangat Ji, with that beautiful image that Baba Atar Singh Ji gave to Bhai Hira Singh Ji, that beautiful message, I'd like to begin today's vichar. Let us keep that message of Baba Ji in mind. And I always, whenever I tell the story, I always remind the Sangat, there is a line in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj says, make your heart the bed for your beloved Guru to come and sit upon. And what will the bed sheets be? Of love and devotion. Make this heart into a bed, or as I say to the Sangat, just like when we are preparing a Manji Sahib in order to enthrone Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. Upon that Manji Sahib we put pillows and we put many different types of expensive cloths. In the same way, upon the Manji Sahib of this heart, upon the charpoy of this heart, put the pillows of love and devotion. Mutiyau sage. My inside has become a bed for my beloved to come and sit upon. Naina Piri Vishavane, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj says, I would take out the eyelids because they are the most gentlest part of the body, and I would put them down for my beloved to walk upon. That much love, that much devotion. Mutiyau sage naina piri vishavane je dekhe hikvar sukh ki mahu bahre. If I would just be blessed with one vision of my beloved, it will be greater than any pleasure on this earth. Oh pyareo, let's take that image and remember that Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj is waiting to sit upon the throne of our hearts. Let us recite Guru Sahib Ji's Fateh and begin the vichar for today. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Sad Sangat Ji, there are many stories associated with Sri Hazur Sahib. And I'm not going to be going through all of the different places which are associated with Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. I'm just going to touch very briefly in the beginning and then just focus upon the period of time which is specifically associated with Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Jyoti Jyot and the Gurgaddi of Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. I apologize that for in advance because I want to stay within the constraints of time. That is why I'm not going to go into all of the stories. But I remember in 2018, I was at Sri Hazur Sahib, and whilst we sit here in the pandemic today, it really makes you value that time which you spent at these places. So if you've never been, as soon as you can, go and see these places where the Guru sat and spoke and where the Guru walked, because they carry a miraculous power even today. And that's not just me saying it emotionally. Guru Granth Sahib Ji tells us, Guru Ramdas Ji says, Jithe jaye bahe mera Satguru, so than sohava Ram Raje. That place where my Guru sits is blessed. Guruji didn't say it's blessed for a day or 2 days or 3 days or years. Guru Sahib Ji said, wherever my Guru has sat, that place is blessed. So than sohava. Gursikhi so than palya le tur mokhalava. And in these times where we can't travel to those places, or it's not that easy for all of us to travel, I get reminded of how must the Sikhs have felt. Because remember, they would have had to travel by foot to go and see the Guru. And maybe a few times a year they would have been blessed with darshan. How would they have felt in the presence of the Guru? And now sitting here today in the pandemic, we feel that longing for those places. I remember in 2018, around these days of the Gurgaddi, Diwali, I was at Sri Hazur Sahib, and a very saintly soul put his arm around my neck. And this was on the day of the Mahalla, the Diwali Mahalla, where the Hajuri Khalsa of Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, with all their weapons and all their might, carry out the military style procession. And those of you who've experienced that, the Mahalla isn't an invention of today. The Mahalla goes back to the times of Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. That military charge, when you're standing there by the Mahalla, hearing the cries of Sat Sri Akal, Gurbar Akal, and you see the horses run past you, and you see the Khalsa with their swords, their Sri Sahibs in their hands, running through the streets of Hazur Sahib, you are really reminded of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's words when Maharaj Ji says, कि खालसा मेरो रूप है खास खालसे मैं हूं करो निवास. I abide within my Khalsa. Anyway, I want to go to the history. I just wanted to tell you this little story from 2018. That saintly soul, after the Mahalla, put their arm around my neck, and they said, with tears in their eyes, they looked at me and they said, how blessed must this place be upon which the blood of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj itself, the drops of blood fell onto this place, into the sand. How blessed, how sacred must this place be. And those words, they still ring in my ears today when I remember, and especially when these days come, I still feel the power of those words. So Sahib Sangat Ji, I just want to briefly give an outline. Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj arrives in Dakhan, in the area, the general location of Sri Hazur Sahib, in the around the end of summer 1707 CE, according to the Gregorian calendar. It's around the month of July or August when Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj reaches. And the first place where Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj goes is to a town called Burhanpur. And I'm not going to take too much time because I want to stay within the time constraints to give you a very quick outline. In the village of Burhanpur, there was an old saint whose name was Baba Jivan Das Ji. Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj arrives in Burhanpur and they go to have langar along with the Khalsa. And some of the historians say that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj had around 2,200 Khalsa who were with them. 200 Ghod-Swar, so 2,200 riders. And at this point, remember, Mata Sahib Deva Ji was also with them. They had come from Punjab. This is in 1707 when Maharaj is coming into the area of Dakhan. Maharaj goes to Burhanpur. They have langar at the house of Baba Jivan Das Ji. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj starts talking to Baba Jivan Das Ji, asking them about spirituality, about how their inner condition is. And Baba Jivan Das Ji says to Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, for many years I tried to conquer my mind and I was unsuccessful. But the first time I saw your father, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj, my mind went completely still. And Baba Jivan Das Ji actually travelled in northeastern India in Assam with Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj. And Baba Jivan Das Ji says to Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, he says, I have been waiting just over 40 years for this moment for you to come here. And Maharaj asks him, how is that? And Baba Jivan Das Ji says, I was with your father Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj when the news of your Prakash, of the coming onto earth of Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, when that news reached Guru Tegh Bahadur, because remember, those of you who know our history, you know that Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji wasn't actually in Patna Sahib when Guru Gobind Singh Ji was born. When the Prakash happened, the word we use in Gurmat, the Prakash of the Guru happened, or Agaman, we say the coming of the Guru. When the Agaman of Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj happened, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj was in Dhaka, in eastern India, northeastern, further east than even Patna Sahib. And it is said that Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji meditated all night. When the news came of the coming of Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj into the world, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj laughed out loud. They were so happy. And Baba Jivan Das Ji says, at that point, I asked your father, so much happiness. And Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji says, my son, who has come to uproot evil and make the Khalsa Panth, has come onto the earth. And Baba Jivan Das Ji says, when will I be blessed with the vision? And Baba Jivan Das Ji tells Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, the Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, your father said to me, go to your village Burhanpur. My son, whoever remembers my son with love, my son travels towards them. My son will come to you. And when I read this, and whenever I remember this, I remember Bhai Gurdas Ji's words, Charan Sharan Gur Ek Penda Jai Chal Satgur Kot Penda Aage Hoye Let Hai. Take one step towards the Guru. Now I don't have time to explain that. But Baba Jivan Das Ji's step was that of love and devotion. And it is said that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj blessed Baba Jivan Das Ji with spiritual wisdom, with the realization of the divine. And some historians even say that Guruji changed Baba Jivan Das Ji's name to Baba Atma Das, the one who knows the self. And Baba Jivan Das Ji travelled from Burhanpur to Nanded to Sri Hazur Sahib along with Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. And even today, the Singh Sahib who does Rehra Sahib da part at Sri Hazur Sahib is from the family of Baba Jivan Das Ji. Anyway, I just wanted to give that little story. Maharaji comes into the city of Nanded, and the first place where Guru Sahib Ji camps out is where today we find Gurdwara Hira Ghat Sahib Ji. Now again, I've already said that I won't be able to go through all the different places and what Guruji did at all those different places, but there's Katha already recorded which you can listen to and find about the specific history of these places. Guru Sahib Ji Maharaj comes to Hira Ghat Sahib, and that is where Guru Sahib Ji starts doing their daily diwan, the Amrit Vela diwan, the evening diwan. That all starts taking place at Hira Ghat Sahib. Meanwhile, not very far from Hira Ghat Sahib is where today you'll find Gurdwara Mata Sahib. And at this place, Guruji would go in order to eat the food which was prepared by Mata Sahib Devanji. And Guru Sahib would go there every day. Mataji would prepare food for Guru Sahib and the Singhs. And Mataji would not eat until they had darshan, until they saw Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj eat first. And there are many stories connected. I'm just going to tell you one of the most important ones, which will, and I say that because it gives you an idea of the greatness of Sri Hazur Sahib. Guruji in the afternoon would go to Nagina Ghat Sahib. I'm not being able to go into the story of why Hira Ghat is called Hira Ghat Sahib. But those of you who know the history know its association with Bahadur Shah and how he offered a Hira to the Guru. But I'm not going to go into that story today. At Nagina Ghat Sahib, a Sikh whose name was Bhai Gurdit offered another precious stone to the Guru. The Guru threw that into the Godavari. I'm not going to go into those stories too much. You can read those stories in other sources or look for other Katha. Just today I'm going to focus on the Jyoti Jyot and the Gurgaddi, but I just want to make a little foundation. Guruji would go in the afternoon to Nagina Ghat Sahib. And one day the Sikhs asked Maharaj, they said, Maharaj, you say that Nanded, it is associated with you from many years. Can you show us what you mean? Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj at Nagina Ghat Sahib, they fired an arrow into the air, and that arrow came and landed where Takht Sri Hazur Sahib is now. Guru Sahib Ji Maharaj and the Sikhs go to that place where the arrow landed, and that place was owned by a Muslim family from 7 generations. And Guru Sahib says, this is our land. And the Muslim family says, this is ours from many lifetimes. And a disagreement took place. And officials came from Bahadur Shah, the Mughal emperor. And they said to Guruji, if you can prove that this land is yours, then you can have it. Maharaj Ji said, start digging. When they started digging into the ground where Sri Hazur Sahib is now, where the Takht Sri Hazur Sahib is, they found prayer beads. They found a mat to sit upon. They found the pitcher of water which Guruji would use. And when they found all of these old nishaniyan, all of these old relics of the Guru, they bowed their hands before the Guru and they said, truly this land belongs to you. Guruji says that this land here, in my previous form as Dusht Daman, I meditated here at Sri Hazur Sahib. And Mata Sahib Devaji meditated where Mata Sahib Devaji's Gurdwara is. I'm not going to go too much into that, but just remember that much. Maharaj Ji said, I meditated here. This is not from this lifetime, this is from the form of Dusht Daman. And Guruji bought that land of Sachkhand Sri Hazur Sahib. And I wanted to tell you that to show how deeply that land is connected to Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. And Sri Hazur Sahib is the place where Banda Ghat, Shri Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj turned Madho Das Bairagi into Banda Bahadur. And how Guruji changed Madho Das Bairagi's life, I don't have time to go into that again. But just giving you these little pointers so you can go and look up these stories yourselves. Shikar Ghat Sahib, Shri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj hunted down a rabbit. And who was in that rabbit? Bhai Mullah, who is a Sikh of Guru Nanak, who had turned his back on the Guru, but the Guru never turns their back on their Sikh. Even though Bhai Mullah had turned their back on Guru Nanak, in the form of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Maharaj came and liberated Bhai Mullah. And you can look up the history of Shikar Ghat Sahib. Maharaj Ji goes to Sangat Sahib and Mal Tekri, and what happened at those places? The soldiers who were with Maharaj, Maharaj Ji told them to dig up at Mal Tekri, and they found treasure in the ground. And Maharaj Ji at Sangat Sahib filled up shields and gave this gold out to the soldiers. And Maharaj Ji said, when 96 crore Khalsa will come, they will get the treasure from this place and they will have enough to make langar for 2.5 days. Guru Sahib Ji said that about Mal Tekri. This is the blessed place, Sri Hazur Sahib. This is the place where Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj recited Sri Sarbalo Granth, and how Maharaj Ji recited Sarbalo Granth, what that story is. We don't have time for that either. But again, you can listen to that. There are audios where you can listen to the history of Sarbalo Granth, but this is the place. And according to the Hazuri Khalsa, those who live at Sri Hazur Sahib, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj spent about 14 months. And in the local history, it is said that Guru Gobind Singh Ji did the whole Katha of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj again at Hazur Sahib. And Sant Gyani Gurbachan Singh Ji Khalsa, in their book Gurmukh Prakash, they also add that Guru Gobind Singh Ji did at Nagina Ghat, they did the whole Katha of Dasam Bani as well. So the Katha of Shri Guru Granth Sahib, the Katha of Dasam Bani, the revelation of Sri Sarbalo Granth Sahib Ji, all these things took place at Sachkhand Sri Hazur Sahib Ji, that blessed place. And Sache Padshah Maharaj every day would have a divan at the area of Sri Hira Ghat Sahib. In the afternoon, they would go to Nagina Ghat Sahib. They would have langar from the blessed hands of Mata Sahib Devi Ji. And I want to bring you closer to that time of the Jyoti Jyot now. Wazir Khan from Sarhand, who had bricked the younger Sahibzade of Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj alive, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਕੀਤਾ, martyred them, and also led the attack against Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj in Shri Anandpur Sahib and then at Chamkaur Sahib. He was worried that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was getting closer to the Emperor Bahadur Shah, and he wanted some way of stopping the Guru. And historians say that he sent 2 Pathan brothers, and these Pathan brothers, they were the grandsons of Pende Khan. Those of you who know our history will know that Pende Khan was raised by Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, but he ended up fighting against the Guru and he died by the sword of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji. And Pende Khan's grandsons, one's name was Ghul Khan and the other's name was Ataullah Khan. There are other names also given in history. Jamshed Khan is also a name given, but we will stick to just these 2 names, Ghul Khan and Ataullah Khan. And he sent them to Nanded with the mission of attacking Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. And I want to bring you towards the Jyoti Jyot, towards these moments of our history. Gyani Sardul Singh, he writes that Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj was celebrating Dihara with the Khalsa. And just like now, for 9 days in the evening, warrior Bani from Dasam is read. That Bani which instills warrior spirit in us. From the Chandi Charitars, from the Chobi Avatar, from Jab Sahib, from Akal Ustad, Bajittar Natak. In the same way, in Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj's time, this Maryada was started by the Guru. And so, Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj was celebrating Dihara every evening. There would be part of Chandi Divar, the Chandi Charitas, the Dihara part which we read today, that would happen every evening. And on the 9th day of the Dihara celebrations, Shri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj listened to Rera Sahib after the Birasi Bani, the warrior spirit Bani, had been read on the 9th day of Dihara, and Maharaji goes into their tent. Ghul Khan, Ataullah Khan had been looking for a moment when they could attack Sache Pasha Ji. The old historians say that there was a Sikh with Maharaj. Maharaj sent that Sikh out of the tent. Ghul Khan comes in. Sache Padshah Ji Maharaj, and Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj starts to close their eyes. And Ghul Khan sees that there is no Sikh next to Maharaj, that the tent is empty. He takes out a qatar, a dagger, and he plunges it into the chest of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. And now historians say that the dagger went into the Guru's body just underneath the heart on the left-hand side of Maharaj's body. And as that weapon plunged into Sache Padshah Ji Maharaj, Gul Khan tries to run away. Maharaj Ji grabs hold of Gul Khan's arm, holding onto their wound. Maharaj Ji pulls out their sword. Sache Padshah Ji Maharaj thrusts it through Gul Khan. Gul Khan cries out, "Hi Amma, oh my mum." And in the Gurbalas Pashe Dasmi, it says, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj says, Pathan ke bete bol Allah. How great is Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj? Even when they have been attacked with a dagger and blood running down, and the enemy falling to the floor, in the middle of that heated situation, as he falls, he says, "Hi Amma." Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj says, "Hi Amma bolne ka waqt nahi, bol Allah." Say the name of God. This is not the time to cry out. This is the time to remember Akal Purkh. Even in that situation where that person is full of hate for the Guru, Maharaj is telling them to remember Akal Purkh. Bol Allah. Gul Khan falls to the floor. Maharaj Ji then says, "Hai ko Singh nere? Is there any Singh close by?" Bhai Santokh Singh Ji, who was head of the langar, comes running in. They see the blood running down Guru Sahib Ji's chola and fills up with tears, starts alerting the other Singhs. Ataullah Khan hears the noise, is about to run away, and Bhai Lakha Singh Ji beheads Ataullah Khan. At that point, imagine the inside of the Sikhs, imagine what they must have felt. There was a surgeon who travelled with the Guru, whose name was Bhai Amar Singh. Bhai Amar Singh Ji started attending the wounds of Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. Maharaj told the Sikhs not to worry. Everything is happening in the hands, in the game of Akal Purkh Vaheguru. And remember this, when at Hazur Sahib they tell the Sakhi, they read a Sakhi, and it's called Sakhi Karan Karne Ki. Karan Karna literally means the one who does everything. These events aren't out of the hands of the Guru. This is all within the plan of the Guru, all of this which happened. Bhai Amar Singh Ji starts attending the wounds of the Guru. And Bahadur Shah, the emperor, when he hears about what has happened, he sends a European surgeon. They stitch up Shri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj's wounds. And Gyani Sardul Singh writes that the next day is Dussehra, and even though Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj just had stitches upon their wound, they still insisted to sit upon their palang, upon a charpoi, upon a bed, and be with the Khalsa as the Khalsa celebrated Dussehra. And in Gurpratap Suraj it says after about 15 days, Maharaj Ji took an Ishnan because the stitches, they had to join, they had to heal. Maharaj Ji rested for 15 days. After that, Maharaj Ji did Ishnan. And the Sikhs, they started feeling happy again. They started rejoicing that Sache Padshah Maharaj's physical health was much better. The day of Diwali approached 1708. And on the day of Diwali, even now, and I'm using the word Diwali. Many people might be thinking, why use this word? This word is used by Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj in their own Hukamname. This word is used by Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji in their Hukamname. This word is used by Bhai Mani Singh Ji in Sikhan di Bhagat Mala. That is why I'm using this word. And many of the Sangat don't know that Diwali is found in the Hukamname of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, the Hukamname of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and in the writings of Bhai Mani Singh Ji Shaheed as well. Anyway, the day of Diwali is approaching, and what used to happen on Diwali, all the Shastras, they would all be laid out beautifully, and they would all be cleaned. And even today, when you go to Sri Hazur Sahib on the day of Diwali, Takht-e-Shanan happens, where everything comes out of the Takht, from the Singhasan of Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, all the Shastra, all the weapons come out, and Ishnan happens of the whole Takht, and all the Shastras, all the weapons of Maharaj and the Khalsa, they are all cleaned by the Hajuri Khalsa. In the same way, Diwali 1708, all the weapons were laid out. Sache Padshah Ji Maharaj is sitting there upon their throne. The weapons are also placed upon a throne. And in the Sangat, some officials had come from the camp of the Emperor Bahadur Shah. And amongst Guru Gobind Singh Ji's weapons, there was one bow, and that bow was known as the Nautanki Kaman. Now, Nautanki Kaman, in very brief in English, that means that in order to string that bow, in order to put an arrow on that bow, it needed the strength of pulling about 200 kilos. Imagine that much strength. And when the officials of the emperor, they saw this bow, they said, this must just be for show. This must just be fake. There is no one strong enough to string such a bow. And if there is one thing which is not accepted in the house of Guru Nanak, there is no space for pakhand, deceit. When Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj heard these words, they picked up the bow. They strung it, Sache Padshah Ji Maharaj, with all their force. They strung the arrow upon the bow, and the arrow left the bow shrieking. But just as the arrow left the bow, in the same way Maharaji's stitches broke open and the blood started running forth. And at that moment, the Sikhs, they went to call Amar Singh, the Jarrah, the surgeon, or to go and get the European surgeon. Maharaj told them no. Maharaji tightened their kamar kasa over the wound. Remember, the wound was just below their heart point. Maharaji tightened their kamar kasa. And in Gur Pratap Suraj Granth, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj says, prepare a tent. And Maharaji said, no one can enter this tent. And two Singhs stood outside on guard. Maharaji entered into the tent. And inside that tent, Maharaji spent 3 hours. And when Maharaji came out of the tent, Kaviraj Bhai Santokh Singh says Guru Sahib Ji was smiling. And Maharaji told their Khalsa, Khalsa Ji, the hukam has come for me to leave this physical body from Akal Purkh. The Khalsa was distraught. Tears were rolling down their eyes as they heard these words from the Guru. Imagine those Sikhs who had left their families in Punjab, who had fought battles alongside Sache Pasha, And they were hearing from the lips of the Guru that Maharaj Ji was going to leave this physical body. The Sampradaya, the traditional scholars, they say that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj then changed their clothes, dressed completely in white. And although we don't find this in the other history books, in the Sampradaya, in the traditional scholars, the Gyanis, they say that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, from the day of Diwali until the day of Katha Sudi Dooj, which is 2 days after, Maharaj Ji listened to the entire part of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Sitting, Maharaj Ji listened to the whole part. That is what the Sampradaya say. We don't find that in the historical sources, but it is said in the Sampradaya that Maharaj Ji listened to all the Bani. And remember, these were the days where Sikhs like Bhai Daya Singh Ji of the Panj Pyare came and asked Maharaj Ji questions. And they asked them Maryada of how to live the life of a Gursikh, and many different conversations went on with the Guru at this time. As much Sangat as could come thronged to Sri Hazur Sahib, thronged to the city of Nanded, because they had heard that the Guru was going to leave their physical body. On Diwali, Sache Padshah Maharaj's stitches break. The day after Diwali, or the day after Masya, the no moon is called Sudi Ekam. The next day is called Sudi Dooj. On the day of Kattak Sudi Dooj, Sache Padshah Ji Maharaj is now at Sri Hazur Sahib. Just to recap, the attack by Gul Khan happens at Hirakat Sahib, and the celebration of Diwali happens where today Takht Sri Hazur Sahib is. And on the day of Kattak Sudi Dooj, Sache Padshah Ji Maharaj says to Bhai Daya Singh, it says in Guru Kiya Sakhiyan, Bhai Daya Singh Ji ko aagya hui Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji ka savara le aao. Bhai Daya Singh Ji is told, of the Panj Pyare, is told to bring Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. Where Sri Hazur Sahib is today, the Takht, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj is enthroned upon a beautiful Manji Sahib. Tan Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, at that point then, the Sikhs are asking, they are saying, who will be our next Guru? Sache Padshah Ji Maharaj asks Bhai Daya Singh to bring Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Guru Granth Sahib Ji's Prakash is done. And Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj then, on Kattak Sudi Dooj, they stand before Tan Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. They take 5 gold coins, a coconut. They place that before Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And Bhai Har Singh, who used to write Maharaj's diary, he writes that Guru Gobind Singh Ji placed their sword before Guru Granth Sahib Ji as well. And behind Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, 5 Singhs stood. And their names are Bhai Har Singh Ji, Bhai Santokh Singh Langri, who is also the first Jathedar of Sri Hazur Sahib, Baba Deep Singh Sahib Ji, who fought without their head, Baba Gurbakh Singh Sahib Ji. Their Shahidi Asthan is just behind Sri Akal Takht Sahib Ji, and Bhai Dharm Singh Ji of the Panj Pyare. They stood behind Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, their face glowing more than billions of suns. They placed those 5 gold coins before Sri Guru Granth Sahib. They placed the coconut before Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Then they took a saffron and sandalwood tilak, the orange mark, the paste, and they put the tilak on Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. They did 5 circumambulations around Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj and the 5 Singhs. And according to the Hazuri Khalsa, Guru Gobind Singh Ji did Aarti of Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, and then they said in a loud, clear voice, Agya Bhai Akal Ki, Tabhi Chalayo Panth, Sab Sikhn Ko Hukm Hai Guru Maniyo Granth. These words were spoken by Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and Bhai Har Singh Ji wrote them in his diary. Maharaj Ji said, from now on, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj is the eternal Guru. And Guru Sahib Ji, what they said, is summarized in our Aitname. Jo muj bachan sunan ki chahe, Granth bichar suno chit laye, Meru roop Granth Ji jaan. Ya main bhed na ranchak maan, Guru Granth Sahib Ji is my form. If anybody wants to speak to me, let them find me in the words of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Oh Sikh, even today you can have a conversation with Guru Gobind Singh Ji if you sit in the tabya in the presence of Guru Granth Sahib Ji and read Bani. जिसने मेरे से बातें करनी होएगी, आद गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब का पाठ करना, मेरे से बातें होवेंगी. Anybody who wants to have a conversation with me, read Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, and you will be having a conversation with me. Maharaj Ji told this to the Sikhs of that time, and even today, if you go to Hazur Sahib on the day of Gurgaddi, they even put little kalgis, little plumes on Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji's Swaroop, and the same maryada is done. The tilak, the paste made out of saffron and sandalwood, is applied to Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And the same way, that whole maryada is carried out even today. Katak Sudhi Dooj, that second day after Diwali passes by. And in these last few days, Maharaj Ji is sitting with their Singhs, and imagine the emotion. Maharaj has now transferred the Gaddi. In Chamkaur Sahib, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj gave the Gaddi to the Khalsa Panth, and at Hazur Sahib, Guru Gobind Singh Ji gave the Gaddi to Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And said, the light is in Guru Granth Sahib Ji and my body is the Panth. And these words we find Guru Gobind Singh Ji expresses them beautifully in Sarbalo Granth. Maharaj Ji says, Apan pao Sri Khalsa Sompa, Dutiya Roop Satguru Grantha, Bolan Satguru Shabad Sampakhan Naam Gobind Kirtan Santha. That my physical body is in the Panth and the inner light is in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And the Sikhs know that Maharaj is going to leave their physical body. In these last few days, Sache Padshah Ji Maharaj has beautiful conversations with the Sikhs. Imagine they're coming, they're asking Maharaj for guidance. And then on Kattak Sudhi Panchami, so 5 days after Diwali, Sache Padshah Ji Maharaj calls Bhai Santokh Singh, and they say, go and bring sandalwood and make a funeral pyre. Bhai Santokh Singh hears this. Imagine hearing that from the lips of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Tears run down his eyes, goes into the marketplace, makes the funeral pyre. Exactly where you see Hazur Sahib now, that is where the funeral pyre was made. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji directs the Singhs to put up a screen, a qanaat around where the funeral pyre is. Sache Padshah Ji Maharaj calls the Sikh who is in charge of Maharaj's stables, the horses. And Maharaj says, keep my kumat koda. Kumat means grey coloured horse. Keep my grey coloured horse ready. Kathi pa ke rakhyo. Make sure that there is a saddle. Guru Gobind Singh Ji had a golden saddle, and Maharaj Ji said to that Singh, make sure that that horse is ready. He says Sat Bachan, he goes and puts the golden saddle upon that horse. The evening is drawing closer, and that old saint Baba Jivan Das Ji. They start Sri Dihara Sahib. On this day, our history books say Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj did Kisi Shnan, they washed their hair. Sache Padshah Maharaj dressed in a beautiful yellow chola, basanti. Maharaj Ji put on their sword, they put on their bows, their arrows, all their weapons. And one Kavi describes Guru Gobind Singh Ji, it's beautiful. He says, when you see the kalgi, the plume upon Maharaj's dastar, it is encrusted with diamonds. And even the king of heaven, according to mythology, the king of heaven's name is Indra. Even Indra's plume cannot match the plume of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Even the sun and the moon, their light cannot match the light of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's kalgi, the plume upon their dastar. And then that Kavi, the poet, says, imagine the pearl necklace around the neck of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. That pearl necklace, it looks more beautiful than even the garland worn by Sri Krishna. And the Kavi says in the end, he says, and they call this magnificent being Guru Gobind Singh Ji, who is the Guru of all creation. सोहत है कलगी तहसीस पहिरन की जड़ती सो जड़ाई इंद्र की कलगी हूं ते सुंदर चंद और सूरते जोत सवाई मोतन हार बस घर में जैसे श्याम गले बनमाल सुहाई गुरु गोबिंद सिंह कहावत है जिन तीनों ही लोक की कीनी गुरियाई. Maharaj Ji dressed in all their weapons, all their glory, even with a banduk, with a gun slung over their shoulder, the kamar kasa tied tightly around their waist. Maharaj Ji walks into the place where the funeral pyre is made. Baba Jivan Das Ji is doing Rehra Sahib the part. After Rehra Sahib, Aarti happens. After Aarti, Shri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj recites Japji Sahib the part and does Ardas themselves. Imagine at that point when the Guru is doing Ardas by themselves, how must it feel? Sache Padshah Ji Maharaj then gives their last in the physical form, in that form, Upadesh to the Khalsa. They tell the Singhs, it says in Bansavali Nama, the Sikhs say, they cry out to Maharaj. They know that the last physical moments of the Guru are close. E jo Sikh Sangat teri tiska kaun hawal? Who will look after your Sangat? Who will we speak to? The Singhs ask Maharaj. Who will lead us in times of darkness? And standing there in front of the Sangat, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj says, Granth hai Guru. Lad pakdo Akal. Guru Granth Sahib is now the Guru. Grab hold of the hem of the robe of Akal, the immortal Akal Purkh Vaheguru. Guru Khalsa, Khalsa Guru. Godi Shri Mata Sahib Deva Ji ki paye, bhajan karna shuru. The Guru lives in the Khalsa, and in the Khalsa lives the Guru. Godi Shri Mata Sahib Devi Ji ki pai, I have put you into the laps of Mata Sahib Deva Ji. Bhajan karna shuru. Always remember to meditate, Khalsa Ji. And these last bachan Maharaj Ji gave beautiful. If we live this advice, then our lives will be changed. Maharaj says, Aapas vich rakhna pyar, love one another. That's one thing that we need to learn as a Panth. Aapas vich rakhna pyar, Panth de vade nu lochna. Always want to see the Panth blossoming. Have that inside your heart. Aapas vich rakhna pyar, Panth de vade nu lochna. Agya Guru Granth Sahib Ji Ji karni shabd di khojna. Always walk according to the commands of Guru Granth Sahib. And whatever you want, whatever you're searching for, you will find it in the word of the Guru, the Shabad of the Guru. Giving this Upadesh, giving these last instructions to the Panth, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj instructed the Raggis to start singing a Shabad. Khulya karm kirpa pai Thakur, Kirtan har har gai, Shram thaka pae, Bishrama mit gai sagli tai, ab mohe, Jeevan padvi pai cheet, ayo manpurkh vedata, santan ki sharnai, ab mohe, Jeevan padvi pai. Now I have found eternal life. And the Sikhs were instructed to sing this all night. Sasangaji, Maharaji is about to walk into the screen. The Khalsa cries out. Sache Paatshah Ji Maharaj turns round to the Khalsa. And in these last few moments, the Singhs, they try and put their head upon the feet of the Guru. They see the feet, but their head, when they're bowing down, their head does not touch the feet. Maharaji says, Singho, this body that you saw for these 40 years, 41 years, this was my game. I am not simply made of these elements. I am that which is immortal. And the Singhs started to realize that there is no power on earth that can kill Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Sada ang sange abhangang vipute. That is Guru Gobind Singh Ji's true form. Maharaji then turns around to the Khalsa and says, Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. The Khalsa replies back. The sounds of Fateh go into the sky. Maharaji goes inside. They sit upon the funeral pyre cross-legged. Bhai Har Singh Ji comes. Maharaji gave Har Singh the hukum to light the funeral pyre. Har Singh lights the funeral pyre, but the flames, they touch the wood, but they do not touch Maharaj. And Maharaj had told the Sangat not to come in to the tent. Only Har Singh came in. Apart from him, Maharaj had told the Sangat not to come inside the screen and not to even come to look through the ashes. Maharaj had given that hukum. The Sangat is watching from the outside of the screen. Maharaj's body is not touched by the fire. And our history books say Brahm Agan came from Maharaj's navel. A divine fire came. And that divine fire engulfed. It came from Guru Gobind Singh Ji's navel. It engulfed Maharaj. And seeing the flames rise up to the sky, the Sikhs were sitting outside singing that Shabad. Jeevan padvi pai ap mohe, Jeevan padvi pai, Jeevan padvi pai ap mohe, Jeevan padvi pai. All night the Singhs, tears running down their eyes, they sang that Shabad. In the morning, the Sikh from the stable came and he said, Khalsa Ji, I've seen something amazing. They said, what? What have you seen? Tell us. He says, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj's grey horse is no longer there and all the other horses are crying. They have tears running down their eyes. Why? Because Guruji took the grey horse and not them. And a little bit later on that day, a saint comes from the jungles and says, Khalsa Ji, why are you crying? What has happened? They say, Guru Gobind Singh Ji has left this physical world. He said, how can that be true? I just saw the Guru in the jungle and the Guru told me to go and tell the Khalsa that I am always with them. The Guru was riding upon a grey horse, a golden saddle, dressed in yellow clothes, and the Guru told me, tell the Khalsa that I am always with them. Khalsa Ji, when the flames had died down, the Sangha did benti to Singh Sahib, Bhai Santokh Singh, the first Jathedar, please let us go inside and see the ashes of the Guru. They did ardas, they went in, and there were no remains left of Guru Sahib. There were remains of the firewood, but no remains of Sache Paatshah Ji's body, none of their weapons, none of that. The only thing they found was a small golden Siri Sahib that Guruji used to wear in their damala. And even today you can see that small Sri Sahib at Sri Hazur Sahib. And Bhai Santokh Singh Ji, Bhai Dharm Singh Ji of the Panj Pyare, they gathered together the ashes of the funeral pyre. They put it into a vessel and they made a singhasan, a throne. That same throne which you see today, that is at that same spot. They made a little singhasan, a little throne. Inside they put that vessel, and on top of that throne they put weapons. And next to the throne where Guru Granth Sahib Ji is today, they put Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and they did a Sahaj part for the first time, and that is where the Maryada of Hazur Sahib began from. Bhai Dharm Singh Ji would do the part. Bhai Santokh Singh Ji would do Chaur Sahib to the weapons upon Maharaj's throne. Bhai Daya Singh Ji would do the Aarti, and Bhai Purushottam Singh Ji was the first Singh to do Katha there. And I want to bring the story to an end now. That was the Katha Sudi Panchami was the 7th of October 1708. Khalsa Ji, when we began this vichar, I told you that two stories come to mind. And I just want to tell you this second story. And I also want to say to you, at Sri Hazur Sahib, even today, that same Maryada of Guru Gobind Singh Ji is carrying on. And the Hajuri Singhs, they believe and they know that Guru Gobind Singh Ji sits upon that throne even today. Where that Singhasan is, go there and feel it, experience it. And I just wanted to finish with this story. Baba Atar Singh Masuan Wale, again getting back to Babaji's life, Bhai Sudh Singh, another Ragi Singh, he said, Maharaj, I heard that you had the blessed vision of Guru Gobind Singh Ji at Nagina Kar Sahib in Hazur Sahib. What was that like? And the response of Baba Atar Singh Ji was so beautiful. They say Baba Atar Singh Ji put their hands on the beard, the dada of Bhai Sudh Singh, like a mother does to a child, and said, Sudh Singh, even today I am being blessed with the vision of Guru Gobind Singh. And Bhai Sudh Singh says, where? Baba Atar Singh Ji looked into Bhai Sudh Singh's eyes and said, in the Khalsa of Guru Gobind Singh. And Baba Atar Singh Ji read those lines, Khalsa meru roop hai khas, Khalse main ho karo nivas. Satsang Ji, in these days of the Gurgaddi and the Jyot, let us remember those words of the Guru. What did Guru Ji say? Granth hai Guru, lad pakdo akal. Guru Khalsa Khalsa Guru, Godi Shri Mata Sahib Dev Ji ki pae, bhajan karna shuru, आपस विच रखना प्यार, पंथ दे वादे नू लोचना, आग्या Granth Sahib Ji di, karni shabad di khojna. Let us take those commands of the Guru into our lives. Please forgive my mistakes, Satsang Ji. I have very quickly gone over and I've left out many of the events which happened at Hazur Sahib, but that was due to time constraints. You can listen to those events in other Katha tracks. But today, let us just try and take those commands of the Guru. To know that Guru Granth Sahib Ji is our eternal Guru. To know that Guru Gobind Singh Ji lives amongst the Khalsa. To love one another. And to search the Shabad for all our answers. Please forgive my mistakes. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. Vaheguru Ji Ki